Matthew Embury, we appreciate you joining us. You have yourself a good weekend, sir.
Anytime, John.
Matthew Embury, WSBT up in South Bend, our official IndyCar contributor. My name is Tom Mark with El Presidente, 917-899-8516. We'll be right back with Steve Wilson kicking off our NASCAR talk for the 2020 season. A big changes down at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and we're just weeks away from the Daytona 500. So getting us ready to go and geared up for the NASCAR season, Steve Wilson. We'll be right back right here on the Balance Radio Network.
National Guard is a reserve component of the United States Air Force and serves alongside active-duty Air Force members in times of a national crisis. In addition, the Air Guard serves the state and local community in a wide range of capacities. The reason people join the Air Guard is as diverse as our members and includes such reasons as a deep desire to serve their country, money for college, travel, new job skills, and the pride that goes along with belonging to the greatest military organization in the world. I joined because I felt a calling to serve my country, but I didn't want to be far away from my family, so the Indiana Air National Guard was a perfect fit for me. With over 95 different career opportunities to choose from and 100% paid college tuition to any state-funded college, why not give us a call? Call 1-800-841-3103 or visit online at goang.com to find out more. Again, that's 1-800-841-3103. The Air National Guard, guarding America, defending freedom.
It's double trouble, double the fun at African Safari Wildlife Park in Port Clinton, Ohio. See the largest antelope on Earth, the giant eland, and the ugliest creature on Earth, the African warthog. There's so much to see and do, including the Midwest's only drive-through safari. Feed the animals, see live educational shows, feel the excitement. Have your picture taken with a python or cockatoo. Feel the adventure. Shop the Symbol Lodge gift shop with items available from around the globe. Visit the snack bar or picnic facilities. Enjoy a pony or camel ride. Or cheer your favorite porker on to victory in the famous Pork Chop Down. Bring your family to see the rare and exotic animals at African Safari Wildlife Park in Port Clinton, Ohio. Just take Route 2 to the Route 53 North exit and follow the sign. Only 17 miles west of Cedar Point via Route 6. Open every day, rain or shine.
Morning face. You get it when you don't sleep well. This is what happened to Linda.
Morning, guys.
Good morning. Ah, what is that thing?
It's me, Linda.
Oh my God, it talks! Run!
No, it's me, Linda from HR.
It looks hungry! Save the children! Save them! Stay back, I've got mace!
Ow, that went in my eyes.
Quit moving!
It's called beauty sleep for a reason. And there's never been a better time to get some.
Get 20% off IKEA Sultan mattresses. IKEA, love your home.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. Ooh.
All right, welcome back to The Balance. Thank you to Matthew Embury, WSBT up in South Bend, our official IndyCar contributor, talking with us a little bit about some funny season in the IndyCar and also about the story we're going to talk about more about here with Steve Wilson, and that's some big news out of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Joining us now, though, is Steve Wilson, our official NASCAR contributor. Steve, it is time to kick off the 2020 season. Are you ready?
Yeah, we're not that far away. A couple more weeks.
ready to get fired up down there in Daytona, and we will talk about Daytona here in just a minute, but certainly some big breaking news concerning NASCAR, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and Brickyard. We know that it's moved to the July 4th weekend. There's a lot of big changes that we're talking about. One of those being that the Xfinity Series is going to be running on the road course, which I think this is good. This is good stuff. We talked a little bit about how they've been struggling with the Xfinity race ever since they brought it over from which is now Lucas Oil Raceway, or IRP, as us veterans around the area like to call it. But let's talk a little bit about that and the big changes that are happening to the Brickyard schedule this year.
Yeah, it's been a struggle since it's come over from the short track, and every year the attendance has just declined down to the point that what is there now? Maybe a couple dozen, 100 people or something that even show up to this thing anymore. I think that the race has been called the race that almost nobody saw by at least the Indy Star a couple times over the last couple of years or so, and it's something different. We've seen what Charlotte did. Charlotte moved their oval race into a road, well, now a roval, but a road course, and that has seemed to regenerate a lot of interest in their events over there on that weekend. So whether this is a precursor to what may happen in the Cup Series in 2021 or maybe even beyond, don't know. But as we know in the past, NASCAR did use the Xfinity Series for a test bed with the rule changes before they tried it in the Cup Series. So it's different, and maybe this will start to regenerate some interest into the race weekend there at Indy, something that's been lost over the last couple of years, maybe just not on the Xfinity side, but on the Cup side. But, it's different, and it's something that, NASCAR fans have continued to ask for. They've continued to ask for two things over the last several years. They want more road courses. They want more short tracks. So this will be an additional road course that gets added to the schedule.
Well, we'll see what happens. You're right. They have struggled to have fans out there. And the thing about the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, I think most people know this, but it's a mammoth track. And even if you have 5,000 on the short track show up, that's a lot more certainly than what it would be. But if you're at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, it really does look like there's only 2 or 3 fans in so that hurts TV stuff. That hurts a lot. So let's hope that Roger Penske and crew, obviously now the new owner of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the IndyCar series. So we'll see what happens. But it's time to get talking about some NASCAR 2020 coming up. On the schedule is the Daytona 500, which is Sunday, February 16th. Let's talk a little bit about Daytona and what are teams doing to get ready, what are teams done in the off-season, just bring us up to speed across the board in the NASCAR world.
Well, for them, they've kind of – it's not that they haven't been busy, but they get a little easier year this year. They're using the same packages that they did last year, and with this being the last year of the generation of the car, they're not prepping as many cars as they would in the off-season, so they get a little easier time this year than they have in the past, but we've seen good racing with this package on at least the super speedways, and going beyond that, there's been some rule changes on short tracks and road courses for this generation of car. NASCAR has reduced the spoiler size down, the splitter size on the front, and the radiator pan on the car to try and generate some better racing on the short tracks and road courses as we get beyond Daytona in the next couple of weeks for places like Martinsville, Richmond, Watkins Glen, New Hampshire, and Bristol, and some other places out there on the schedule. So, hopefully this will help out to some degree. And then NASCAR can't bank that so many changes with this car because with it being the last year, but just this about a week ago there was another test with Eric Jones and the next generation car down at Homestead, Miami. I believe they're continuing to gather the necessary data that's needed So in 2021, when this new car does finally come on track, that we'll see a good close racing across all the tracks in the schedule.
We're talking with Steve Wilson, editor-in-chief of Speedway Digest, our official NASCAR contributor. We're getting ready to open up the NASCAR 2020 season, and certainly this is the farewell tour. This is the final lap for Jimmy Johnson, one of the greats. What does Daytona have in store for Jimmy? What's his season going to be like as he begins his final tour, our final year, if you will, with NASCAR as a full-time driver?
Jimmy has a lot to turn around from his last season. It was lackluster, for a better choice of words. He really didn't shine at any point in the season, and it seemed like it was just one issue after the other. I think he has enough driving ability left in him. But this sport just becomes so competitive every year. The times in qualifying, lap times on the track, speeds on the track, continue to close the gap every year. And as anybody in any professional sport, over time, as you get older, of course, you start to slow down. Of course, your body starts to break down. And we're seeing younger and younger kids come into the sport and perform at some of the highest levels. So, he's got a lot to change from last year, and that means that he's going to have to be back on top of his game on some of these tracks that he's been traditionally good at, like Charlotte Motor Speedway, which he just did not seem to shine at all. Other tracks that he's gone to, like Dover, and won time and time again, just didn't seem to, again, shine in the races there. For his farewell tour, I'm sure every single track is going to be doing something different for him. I haven't heard specifically what Daytona is going to do. They have stated that they are planning to do something, as well as other tracks have stated that they'll be doing something individually, but what that is planned for each track yet, they haven't started to announce it. But I think what Jimmy has done in his career to go out there and win 7 championships. Now, we can debate the validity of how he won them versus Richard Petty or Dale Sr. All day long, but nonetheless, going out there and winning 7 championships like that in today's highly competitive environment is something for the history books. It's definitely a story that will continue to be told over the next, many, many years. We may not talk about the story in the fashion that the Dale Seniors and the Richard Pettys of the world, but we tell those stories of 7 championships. But we'll nonetheless continue to tell the story of Jimmy Johnson now. He was able to match the 2 greats or 2 other greats in the sport and become a great himself over his career.
Well, it's certainly, yeah. He's had his ups and his downs like any driver has, but as you just mentioned, he's going to be always noted as one of the greats of the sport. So it's unfortunate when we see a lot of these drivers retiring and out with the old and in with the new, and we'll see what happens. Let's talk a little bit about the Chevy Cup teams. Obviously, they've got the brand new freaking Camaro. That's a badass car, if you ask my opinion, Steve.
Yeah, as each of these manufacturers have continued to say, we went away a long time ago from brand identity into the sport with these common templates and things on the racetrack that didn't necessarily match what was out on the street. And for years, it was always a mentality of win on Sunday, sell on Monday. And a lot of these manufacturers, again, they just got together and worked with NASCAR to say, look, what we're putting out there on the racetrack doesn't necessarily identify with what we have out on the street or even the name we're putting on the car, other than some stickers and headlights and, maybe a logo or something like that. And fans are just not able to identify with what they are seeing. So over the last couple of years, we've seen Ford do this now with the Mustang that you have, and now the Camaro